Hello, my name is Jimmy and this is the 2022 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. The Tucson is brand new for 2022 and with it comes a lot of changes. There's now 3 powertrains to choose from. The base, you get a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, which is more than adequate. And then you got this, the hybrid. And if you want something a little bit more, there's also a plug-in hybrid variant with 50 kilometers or about 30 odd miles of electrical range. But today we're gonna talk about this one, this hybrid powertrain Hyundai Tucson. This is the ultimate trim here in Canada or limited in the US, basically the top trim available for the hybrid powertrain. And there's a lot to talk about, but first, styling. Styling is completely subjective, so let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below, but I think it looks pretty good. Let's start with the front end here. It's very distinctive. We got these beautiful daytime running lights that's just, well, hidden within the grille itself. You got your turn signals up top, and then down below you have your headlamps, high and low beam. In this specific trim, LED for both. It's a very, very nice and elegant looking front end. I love the dark chrome that's on the grille. It's, well, so much more different than any other vehicle. It actually is quite a bit different than any other Hyundai, other than the Santa Cruz, which is very similar, but it doesn't have a real, well, Hyundai look to it. On the side, we get pretty squared off fender flares, which looks a little different than most of its competitors. We got 19-inch wheels that look pretty okay. They're definitely a little bit more different, not the standard hybrid type wheels that you would get. The overall side profile is actually really nice. You get a lot of these geometric type shapes and creases along the body. It's different. It's not the smooth look that you get in like the CX-5. This, well, you can't mistake it for anything else. And I love this part. This silver trim wraps around the mirror, goes up the windows all the way to the back and has a little accent piece. It's just quite beautiful. And around back here, we have these beautiful LED tail lamps that span the entire width of the car. I am a sucker for full width taillights, and this looks absolutely magnificent. The rear wiper is now hidden underneath the rear spoiler for a cleaner look. The Hyundai badge in the center, and then down below, some more geometric shapes on the lower bumper. You also got your turn signals and your reverse lamps. I mean, overall, it's distinctively Tucson. This, well, you're not gonna mistake it for any other vehicle in its class. If you compare this to the previous model, well, it's a far departure. There's nothing wrong with the older one, but it just lacked identity. Well, this has tons of identity here. Let's move to the inside of the vehicle, starting with the trunk. As with many Hyundai and Kia products, you just stand behind the vehicle and the tailgate automatically opens in about 5 seconds or so. It's a little bit easier than kicking underneath the tailgate, as you can lose your balance, and that's also not that great. So, great little feature. In here, we have plenty of space. We get 38.7 cubic feet of space, which is just behind the CR-V and the Rogue, but it is bigger than the Rav4. Being that it is a hybrid, we do lose a spare tire and we have a can of Fix-A-Flat, but it does open up the space underneath for a little bit more storage. What I do like as well is there are these little handles on the side here, so you can pull them and release, well, the rear seats down. So you can fold them down to stow longer items. You don't have to go around to the side. Clever feature. And of course, this, well, it's a 2-stage partition. You can lower it down for a little bit more room as well. Let's take a look at those back seats though. Well, the back seats are very accommodating. There's plenty of headroom. Even with this panoramic sunroof, there's plenty of legroom as well. I can really stretch out. For maximum comfort, well, the rear seats, they recline a whole lot. As you can see, like, this is super comfortable back here. Of course, normally you'll have it upright and it's fine. You get heated seats back here. There's USB charge ports, as well as ventilation. And of course, There's an armrest with your integrated cup holders. There's no complaints. If you're interested, I have another video that's going to pop up here on how you can fit car seats in the back of this. I have a Collect Ling, which is an infant seat, as well as a Collect Fünf, which is a convertible that I put into the backseat of this Tucson. And, well, as you can see, there's plenty of space with really no issues at all. But let's go to the front seats because, well, that also matters. All right, front seats. Well, they're plenty comfortable. They're heated, they're cooled, and there's this little silver trim in here to make things a little bit more unique. I mean, there's fine. There's really no complaints in here. The white leather, well, on this particular one being a press car, yeah, it has been worn a little bit. I probably won't suggest this color of interior if you're looking for one, but it certainly is nice. In front, this Hyundai steering wheel is pretty normal. You get dedicated buttons to control your cluster as well as your infotainment, pretty standard stuff. You got paddles on the back to control your shift points. We'll get to that in a bit. That's actually a pretty good little feature. Behind, I do have a digital cluster. It's a very feature-rich cluster. It's a very similar system as like a lot of Genesis products. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Changes to the drive mode changes the overall look of the cluster itself. And there's also another like almost hidden view of this cube display that I have up here. It actually looks quite good. I don't have a heads-up display, but I don't think that's too bad. I mean, the cluster is relatively nice and large. It isn't too far below, so it's okay. Infotainment, actually pretty big touchscreen here. On the base is an 8-inch unit, on this 10.2 inches, and it's actually a fine display itself. The system works well. Pretty typical Hyundai and Kia product here. It has everything that you need. CarPlay, Android Auto. Although it is wired, there isn't a wireless option, at least not yet, so maybe in the future, who knows. The biggest complaint is there's just no physical buttons here. Everything is this kind of touch sensitive button. It's not the best for everyone, but it depends on who you are and kind of how you use the vehicle. If it's me, I don't mind it too much. And here's why. Volume control is right here on the steering wheel. I can mute, I can volume up, volume down, and I can change the radio station by this little toggle here as well. If I have it saved to my favorites, then it's perfect. There's only 3 or 4 radio stations that I listen to, and if it's CarPlay, well, then I just use my voice anyways. The buttons, they don't matter too much. Climate control is very similar. I set my temperature and I basically forget about it. So I know a lot of other reviewers are being pretty hard on the fact that there's no physical buttons here, but I gotta be honest, it really comes down to how you use your vehicle. For me, I don't see this as that big of a problem, but your mileage may vary. But you do get some physical buttons right here on the center console, so you get heated seats and cooled seats, that's here on this little toggle, heated steering wheel, and of course, your shifter. The shifter on the base model, well, you still get a regular shifter, but on the hybrids, you get this push button layout. I know, not a fan for everyone, but I mean, it clears things up a little bit. You don't have to, go over the shifter to reach your cup holders, so that's also nice. I personally don't have a problem with them, but once again, your mileage may vary. Overall, this interior is really, really nice. It's a very upscale feeling with just how everything looks. In a way, it kind of looks like the brand new Mercedes S-Class. In a way, I'm not saying it looks exactly the same. It's just how it's sculpted with kind of how everything looks. I know it's not the same as a brand new S-Class. I mean, the materials are vastly different. There's plastics in here, and there's probably none that you can feel anyways on the brand new S-Class. But this, I mean, it looks very high-end, and I like the choice of materials here. The soft fabric on the side, you get softer materials on top, and of course some leather down here. It's nice. Yeah, you get all these glossy black plastic, but if you're not really touching the infotainment, you're not going to have an issue. In any case, let's go for a drive because, well, this hybrid is unlike any other hybrid that's out there. So let's go. All right, on the road with the Tucson hybrid. As said, this is very different than a lot of other hybrids. And the main reason for that is under the hood. Most hybrid vehicles out there underneath the hood is just a standard little 4-cylinder. I mean, this is still a 4-cylinder, but it's made it to a turbo. It's a 1.6 liter turbo, which makes 227 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. And what that power equates to is a very different driving experience. When you put your foot down, this actually pushes you back in your seat quite a bit. A lot more than the Rav4 hybrid that I was driving. I mean, that could be in my head, but I'll take a look at some numbers and I'll put the information down below whenever I get a chance. But it just feels like this pulls harder. The turbo engine, I mean, the 1.6 turbo with a lot of the Hyundai and Kia products, they work well. Made it to it, it's something that's also very different. Most of the time when you think hybrids, it's a CVT, continuously variable transmission, which, let's be honest, a lot of people don't like. This has a 6-speed automatic, so there's actual gears. So if you want to, you can use the paddles behind and you're actually shifting something. Unlike, well, some other manufacturers, when you press the shifters, they just change the ratios. That's faking it. These are real. I mean, they're not like fully connected to an actual like gear like a manual transmission would be, but it's a lot more close than, well, paddles on a CVT. Honestly, the driving experience is one of the best parts about this vehicle. It's a lot more responsive than a lot of hybrids out there. Yes, there's an eco mode that you can put it into to save a little bit more fuel, but it doesn't feel like you're always in eco mode when you're normal. Other products out there, well, it just feels like they dull everything down to give you the best economy as possible. In this, it feels like they just want to give you the best experience. And I appreciate that, Hyundai. I definitely do. Some other notable features that I really like is, well, the cluster itself. Yes, it's a full digital cluster, I already talked about that. But the cluster itself, when you signal left or right, well, there's a little camera. It uses the 360 camera system that's built into the car, and you can see what's in your blind spot. I love that feature. It just allows you to see what's there rather than, well, an audible alert or a light that's on the mirror. It still has that, but having the camera as well, it just helps, and I certainly can appreciate that. And of course, it has a very good 360 camera, so you can see all around you, forward, back, sides. It's a very good system itself. And there's a little camera button right here you can press, so you can see exactly what's going on. Side view, front view, the wheels, help you park a little bit. There's nothing really wrong with this vehicle. And if you want to tow, well, the Tucson hybrid can actually tow 2,000 pounds. I mean, it's not much, but it's something that's available to you. You can tow a jet ski or two and still be, well within the capabilities of this vehicle. If you're worried about safety, well, you don't really have to worry. Hyundai's got you covered from front to back. You got the, well, collision mitigation braking, you got the radar guided cruise control, lane centering, highway driving assist. Like, it has all the features that you need to keep you and your occupants nice and safe. On the highway, using the radar guided cruise control, it works really well. It basically keeps you within your lane with minimal interruptions from you as a driver. So as long as your hands is on the wheel, it basically can almost drive for you. Not saying you should, tape something to the wheel and do weird things like that. I'm sure you've seen it online plenty of times, but let's not do that. Let's be safe here. It's a good system. Don't abuse it. And that's really all I gotta say. Let me pull over here to round things up nicely. The 2022 Hyundai Tucson, it's definitely different. This is actually quite refreshing for Hyundai. Their cars, they've been good, but this is one above that. It's not just good. Everything that you get with the exterior, the interior, how it drives, this is excellent. This is a very, very good product. But there's one thing wrong with it. The main competitor to the Tucson hybrid is the Rav4 hybrid. If we're looking at the pricing, it's very similar. The Tucson Ultimate here comes in at $41,599, whereas the Rav4 hybrid, $43,350. For not a lot more, you get a Toyota product, which means you also get better resale value out of it. And we look at the flip side, on a base model, well, here in Canada, if you want to get into a hybrid Tucson, it's $38,899, whereas a Rav4 hybrid, well, $32,950. Now, I definitely understand these two models have vastly different features. I get that, I do. But for a lot of people, the features don't matter as much as, well, just the overall sticker price. And the sticker price is what gets you into the doors of those dealerships. Here in Canada, we just don't get a lower end trim of the Tucson hybrid. In the US, you get a blue trim, which is priced lower, but we just don't get that here in Canada. So, well, we have to step up a little bit more to get into this product. I'm saying this is actually better technically than a Rav4 hybrid in many ways. There are many features and how the interior is and just the exterior looks. I think this looks better. It's more comparable even to like the Venza than the Rav4 hybrid. The things that people are looking for, price, as well as fuel economy when it comes to a hybrid powertrain, it can't beat the Rav4. And that's the ultimate truth. Well, in any case, thank you so much for watching this video. If it was my money, I still go for this because I like this quite a bit more, just saying. But if you have any questions, anything like that, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. In any case, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.